There has always been a push to legalize sex work, but if we do that, we're normalizing an industry where women are bought and sold for the pleasure of men. I'm Helen Escott, author and crime historian. I wrote Operation Trafficked a few years ago about human trafficking from St. John's to Montreal, and what I found out was absolutely amazing. Now, my books are always based on true crime, and this week human trafficking is back in the news again because officials say human trafficking is an underreported crime in Newfoundland and Labrador, according to a CBC story. Hotel workers in Newfoundland and Labrador are being offered training to recognize human trafficking and criminal activity that officials say, despite a lack of cases, is in fact present in the province. Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador has decided to join the Not in Our Hotel initiative after discussions with other regions in Canada. In Operation Trafficked, I told you that hotel workers are well aware of this crime that is disproportionately affects women. It operates openly in hotels and is rarely reported. Hotel workers are being offered free online training modules that explain how a trafficker uses means of coercion or force for the purpose of providing forced sex or labor. The modules go through different scenarios and describe the nuances of trafficking, like how in some cases victims may not want to leave their traffickers. What the news story doesn't say, and I'm disappointed in this, is whether or not taking the modules will be mandatory for hotel workers and if they will be getting paid while taking the course. Because if it's up to their own discretion and they're not being paid to do it, then I don't think this program is going to be very successful. Now, data from Statistics Canada indicates 23 human trafficking incidents were reported to police in Newfoundland and Labrador from 2014 to 2024. Over those 10 years, 17 of those reports fell under the Criminal Code and 6 under the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act. The RNC confirmed one additional incident reported in 2025 is currently under investigation, but could not provide details. The RCMP only laid its first charge related to human trafficking in 2022, and it was withdrawn. An RNC spokesperson said the numbers are low because it's an underreported crime. Well, that may be so, but another reason the stats are so low is because prosecuting human trafficking is very expensive. So the charges are often pled down to assault, sexual assault, or other crimes. Victims of human trafficking tend to be members of very vulnerable populations. They are people who have suffered abuse, addiction, poverty, and homelessness. Most cases reported involve young people, and a lot of them are children. Here's the bottom line. If you want to help sex workers and people who are being trafficked, don't be okay with men and boys using their socioeconomic power to buy sexual access to somebody with no power. If you want to help sex workers and human trafficking victims, then demand that our governments tackle the core issues of inequality, like poverty, mental illness, and abuse that leads people into the sex industry in the first place. Human trafficking is just a fancy name for the modern-day slave trade.